Well, Mr. President, I just promoted you, Mr. Prime Minister. It's great to have you back. And, the past few months we've met each other in San Diego, and then we met in Belfast, and we met in Hiroshima, and now we're here. We're going to solve all the problems of the world right in this next 20 minutes. But, Prime Minister Churchill and Roosevelt met here a little over 70 years ago. And they asserted that the strength of the partnership between Great Britain and the United States was the strength of the free world. I still think there's truth to that assertion. And together we're providing economic, humanitarian aid and security assistance to Ukraine in their fight against the brutal invasion of the Russians. And we've worked out an arrangement with AUKUS, with Australia, to make the Indian Ocean and that whole area safer, more secure, and we built on the Good Friday Agreement, 25 years, and we could talk about that a little bit. As NATO allies, we're working together to help provide the collective defense of all of us, and we're going to further. I hope we're going to discuss today plans to further strengthen our economic relationship. And the global economy is undergoing, I think, the greatest transformation that's occurred since the Industrial Revolution. And something you know a lot about, AI, is going to play a big part in that. I want you to use that as well. And we don't have a closer ally than Great Britain and Lightning Period.
Well, Mr. President, thank you. Thank you for the warm words, but also thank you for welcoming me to the White House and for allowing me to stay in Blair House, which I've got to say, the spare room in the flat in number 10 Downing Street doesn't quite compare. So it's been a real privilege. And as you said, it's daunting to think of the conversations that our predecessors had in this room when they had to speak of wars that they fought together, peace won together, and incredible change in the lives of our citizens. And again, for the first time in over half a century, we face a war on the European continent. And as we've done before, the US and the UK have stood together to support Ukraine and stand up for the values of democracy and freedom and make sure that they prevail, as I know we will. But also, I completely agree with what you said. Our economies are seeing perhaps the biggest transformation since the Industrial Revolution, as new technologies provide incredible opportunities, but also give our adversaries more tools for harm. But one thing I know won't change, I'm confident won't change, is the strength of our partnership, our friendship. And we will put our values front and center, as we've always done, to deliver for the British and American people.
If we had time, I'd take you over to the residence where I live. And when you were over at Blair House, President Truman was there because they were redoing the White House. He put a hole in the Truman balcony as it exists now because of Blair House. About that second balcony, you see the first balcony you see going up. So at any rate, and there's an awful lot of stories that are told, probably a bunch apocryphal about the former prime minister, like you take baths up that, anyway.
Wandering around at 3 a.m. Yeah, Winston Churchill, bothering Mrs. Roosevelt, yes. So you won't, don't worry, you won't see me there, bothering you and the First Lady.
Anyway, welcome.
Well, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me, Joe.
Good to be here. Thank you, everybody. So if you had a chance to ask me questions, then customer.
Thank you, everybody. The President says you have a chance to ask us questions later.